Welcome to Empowered, a dynamic two-part series proudly presented by ITI. As we honor Black History Month, join us in fostering meaningful connections between distinguished tech industry executives and the exceptional students of Morehouse and Spelman. Watch the full video to hear this lively discussion about mentorship for students of color, careers in the tech industry, the power of AI and inclusivity.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pamela Walker. I am a government affairs executive that, I've been in this field for over 25 years, working on a number of just tech policy issues. And so it's ranged all the way from artificial intelligence to cyber to privacy to just even quantum, a little touch on quantum too. I did not start off working in tech policy. I actually started off working in like transportation issues, representing the states. And over the number of years, I've just grown just through my different career experiences, working for trade associations, even doing a stint as a little news reporter. And so this career and policy allows you to just go to a number of different places depending on what your interest is. And right now, I'm a senior director and the deputy head of SAP's Washington office. And I just started that back in December via VMware, where I was the head of the federal program there. And I am an ITI alum. I worked at ITI for a number of years. I think it was about 5 or 6 years that I worked for ITI. So that's my introduction.
Hi, my name is Andalyn Hester. I'm a first year at Spelman College. My major is environmental science, dual degree engineering. And my question is, I have two. The first one is, so what do you do like on a day-to-day basis in your career? And what are some like things like achievements that you have had in your career?
Okay. My day-to-day, it varies from day to day, but I usually start off early in the morning going through the legislative news, what's going on, check out Morning Joe and a couple of the news cycles, seeing who's being interviewed, what's the topic of the day. Look at Politico, just so it gives you that flavor of what you're walking into. Did something happen, overnight? But you'll go to meetings on Capitol Hill, do a lot of internal meetings, because as government affairs, not only are you representing the company before the administration, Capitol Hill, at the trade associations, you are also serving your internal customers, and your internal customers are the business units within those companies, within your company. And so you want to make sure they know who government affairs is, because if there's ever any reduction or budget slash, people are supportive of government affairs. So you're trying to help the company, enable the sales teams to be able to sell, protect the company's interest before the government. And so that's just, on a daily basis. So I'll just go to a number of different meetings and briefings and writing stuff too, keeping people up to date. Throughout my career, I've had a number of achievements, from getting like $74 million in the appropriation cycle for one trade association I worked for, to last year, I actually got a bill introduced in Congress on multi-cloud. And so it was a top priority for VMware, where I used to work at. And so we were able, through a very strategic process, get a bill introduced. But the work had started 2 years ago, where we were actually getting legislation included, provisions included inside the appropriation cycle that led to get our bill introduced last year. So that's like one of my big successes. And even when I was at ITI, we did a lot of work around the Modernizing Government Act. And through ITI and the position I was in at that time, was able to lead and help bring companies together to push legislation into law that led to the TMF fund for agencies to try to be able to bring funding together to modernize, but also be able to use working capital funds that could be used year after year, rather than going back to Congress for that funding.
Hi, my name is Donovan Dixon. I'm a freshman computer science major at Morehouse College. And my question is kind of, what inspired you to do what you do now? Like, was it undergrad or something that while you were being brought up in your childhood? What inspired you to do what you do now?
So what inspired me, what I'm doing now, somewhat is similar compared to what inspired me. What inspired me is I grew up in a military family. And so my dad was stationed in Germany when the first Persian Gulf War broke out. And so was graduating high school with a bunch of friends. But people did lose their parents, and also parents weren't there to see their kids graduate because they were at war. And so government relations became an interest to me because I was just like, so what can we do to prevent wars? How can, we prevent this stuff so no kid could lose their parent because they're serving in the military, but the parents could be there to see you graduate. So that brought about my thoughts I wanted to go into foreign affairs, possibly go be a foreign service officer. From my dad traveling a lot and us moving around a lot was where I started off
Hello,
with.
my name is Eric Harrison. I'm a sophomore computer science major attending Morehouse College from Nashville, Tennessee. My question for you is what were your biggest challenges in your field?
My biggest challenges in the field, especially when I started off, is especially when I did start off in foreign affairs, I was usually the only Black person. I was the only female. And I was young. So I had three strikes. And I remember my boss sent me to this meeting, was maybe 22 years old. My boss sent me to this meeting to sit at a table with it was a whole bunch of retired military, some of them former officers and stuff, and trying to just get my voice heard at that table because they looked at me like, what does she know? And so that was definitely a challenge and very nervous. At 22, it's like, oh my God, I've read about some of you people in newspaper articles. So that was very nerve striking. And so from there, I remember I had a mentor, and she was like, no matter your age, no matter what you look like, you always make sure you're sitting at the table, sit up straight, and look engaged, and make sure you add to that conversation. And so that's what that experience has taught me throughout my career. I see a lot of you are majoring, on computer science, on the engineering side. So are you looking to work in policy in the future, or is that something you're looking to start off with, or go straight into the technical side of things at companies?
I want to go straight into the technical side of companies. I kind of want to focus more towards product management.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, me as well. I also want to just be in the tech. I'm more like data science, computer science, coding. So that's definitely what I would like to do.
One thing, policy side of things is very interesting from the intersection. I think there's a lot of just as much as tech is evolving, policy has to evolve at the same pace.
As students, what challenges do you anticipate facing as you're entering the workforce, and how do you plan to overcome them?
I've gone through similar experiences to what you were talking about already, and I'm not even like in the career field yet. I was in like a summer program over the summer, and it was where we had to build a speaker. It was like an engineering program, and I was with a group of all guys, and one of the guys in particular, like he just thought like automatically because I'm a woman, I guess, like he just thought I was dumb or like I wasn't going to be able to build the speaker or whatever. And that wasn't at the time my specialty, like the mechanical engineering side. But like I was actually the one who got the speaker working and was able to do a majority of the presentation when it was time to present the speaker. And he actually ended up needing my help in the end, but just like overcoming just the stereotypes of being a woman already in the engineering field, and automatically men think like, oh, they're like above you because you're a female. So
Yes, I've heard a lot of friends that are senior execs talk about that. So proud of you to keep going.
I would say one, given that we are at a HBCU, we are technically in a kind of like a black haven. We're in a kind of like a bubble where we're in a very big safe space where everybody is kind of watching out for you. making sure they want to see you succeed. They get you into opportunities that has a lot of people that look like you. And given the fact that we're in a field where there's not a lot of people that look like us, like I've started to come to the realization, like if I'm not working in Atlanta, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna be in a space where like not everybody's gonna look like me. So it's gonna be another switch over. So like given my experience, I came from a predominantly white area before I came to a HBCU. So like I had a lot of like trials and like struggles with like people doing things that they shouldn't be doing just because of the color of my skin or who I am as a person. So the transition of going from that to an HBCU where you're very comfortable to knowing and realizing that I'm going to probably have to go right back to that same type of area that I like wanted to leave is going to have to be a lot more of an adjustment.
Because of the Washington, D.C. area, I feel like I see more African Americans in tech in the space around here.
Yeah, most definitely.
So it kind of diluted my vision compared to when I went out to Silicon Valley. I was like, whoa, this is completely opposite of what I'm seeing, of what I'm used to seeing in the DMV, whether people are working for companies, whether people are working for the federal government in the tech space. So definitely still in the minority. A lot of the companies I know, even my own, have a lot of things that they are trying to bring in a more diverse workforce and have programs in place to bring in folks recruiting from HBCUs, to bringing them into the internships. And then that's too where you get involved with your employee resource groups once you get there and getting to know different folks. Because I will say when I was at VMware, it was really cool. They bought in, you have to be a director or above, and they bought in all the different directors and above to VMware for our leadership program. And I had no idea how many of us were within the company, and we were able to build relationships there to keep for the future while working at the company. That I thought was really cool to see that. So what made you all want to, I guess, what's your passion about going into technology? Where do you want to end up in? Well, I guess I did ask that already. But what brought your passion into technology, made you want to go into this space?
I've always been, I guess you could say, acclimated around technology. Also, my dad is in the technology field, so all like always watching him or like going like taking your son to work day, like always seeing what he was doing. It was kind of always something that kind of intrigued me, as well as technology is something that's always innovating and always becoming better. And after realizing how non-prevalent African Americans are in this field, it kind of made me want to get in it even more because it made me feel like it would give me the opportunity to make an even bigger mark, especially since I guess you could say we haven't been able to be in that field as much and do as much as I know that we can.
It's definitely a career. Both, yeah, my husband's been in it over 25 years also. So, and he has a whole big circle of friends, and they're all working in the tech space.
So what college did you go to?
I went to George Mason University. So when I was picking out my colleges, I was living in Germany. And so my parents said I could only go to school in Texas, Louisiana, Missouri, and Virginia. I had to be near family in case of emergencies and stuff. So my dad had been stationed at Fort Meade, and I remember we had a track and field event at George Mason. So I was like, George Mason's right by DC, could go get a government job. And so I ended up at George Mason University.
Hey there, Pam. I have a quick question as well. Since these folks are going to be deployers of some of the technologies that ITI member companies like SAP work on, what are some things that they should be attuned to as they prepare to enter the workforce?
Things to stay attuned to, especially since they're going on the technical side of the house. What are those latest trends that the employers want you to know? Right now, it's all about artificial intelligence. It's not enough people taking a look or specializing in AI and everybody incorporating AI into their different products. And so, yeah, knowing what's that latest technical piece that folks are looking at, While also at the same time, because you guys are freshmen, make sure that you're getting those internship experiences. A lot of the companies hire and bring you in for the summer to work. It's a paid internship. So you're getting those experiences as you are going throughout college, and you'll have a resume in 4 years built out on your experiences. I've had some friends' kids, because they kept going back to the same company, they got hired by those companies after they graduated from college. And so getting that experience, understanding, what are the tech trends, learning to be flexible and adaptable, because technology, it changes, and in the workspace too, it's important to be flexible and adaptable day to day. It's not going to be, not going to be the same. And so it's working on those different traits that can contribute to the workforce, being able to speak. And when I say speak, I've seen some presentations, especially when they're on the engineering side of the house, where it's so technical, you lose people. But if you're able to translate tech into everyday language for people, that's a great asset to have. And so, yeah, so look at the trends, go to your career centers at your school to find out. A lot of the tech companies are at the HBCUs, and looking to hire kids, whether they're having job fairs or working with your career development center. Go in there to talk with them about building out a plan for yourself on what you want to achieve. So then when you're getting out in 4 years, if you're not going to go, directly to grad school or go get your MBA. I don't know if some of you are in a 5-year program to get your MBA, which are technical degree, that you have that game plan in place. So each summer, what you're doing, what you're planning. Get involved with organizations. Hopefully you guys are involved with NSBE, and some of the organizations on your campus that you can go to the conferences, learning opportunities and stuff to build your network for the future.
And I have another question that I think will be helpful for the group. You've talked a lot about building community, building mentorship, opportunities for yourself, building out kind of what your circle looks like and how that's made an impact in your career. What are some things to keep in mind as these students go and look for a community to grow with and to advance their careers within?
I've had a number of mentorships over the years, and I've built my kitchen cabinet just based off of people that I grew up in my profession with, that we bounce ideas off. Going about doing that, especially like on the mentorships, looking at your professors, looking at your professors, but also too, some of your degree programs will have stuff set up for the alums, because the alums are volunteering to be mentors. Check out to see if, what programs that you have existing in your schools to be able to capture a mentor. Look at someone that will, work with you, provide that advice and guidance as you're launching your careers. So definitely, go check out and see what's there on your campus. In addition, take a look at, if you're volunteering somewhere, those different people can provide those mentorships for you through community service projects, meeting different folks. And sometimes you don't necessarily have someone that is in your field, but they can provide you that guidance with being a mentor because they've been in the workforce. So you can go a number of different ways get a mentor. But yeah, being involved with those different organizations I know have different mentorship programs coming out. And then even at some of the companies, they provide mentorship programs for folks that are starting their careers off. And then on your friendship side, definitely surround yourself with folks building your kitchen cabinet, as I call it, your cabinet. Bring in those people in your cabinet that you all are going to grow together. One might go work for one company, one at another, but you're growing together. And so you'll have different experiences. And in the future, because you've built out your network, networking is how you end up getting jobs, in the future. And so you'll have your hands in a number of different ways to make sure that you can always look for that next opportunity.
Thank you for joining us for Empowered. Stay tuned for more as we work to empower the next generation of tech industry professionals. Visit itic.org for more updates.